Guys, this was hands down the best episode. Wanna know why? One of my all-time favorite films had one of my all-time favorite scenes in the history of cinema, and I think it's fair to say the Halo TV show has been lacking in sexuality, which is why I'm so happy to report we got it. We got the Arbiter shirtless. My god, he's hot. Okay, that's enough playing around. Yeah, no, this episode was a mess. The amount of plot contrivances is insane, I swear. The first thing we see is Perez. Yes, this same person doing Spartan simulation training. When the hell did all this happen? I actually had to pause at some point and just think about how this came to be. This is Onyx, a secret Oni base.
What do you know about this place? No maps. No records, just rumors, just whispers.
So you mean to tell me Perez, who somehow escaped Reach in a civilian transport, she found this place out of sheer luck, and she's a Spartan 3 right now, didn't get pursued by any Covenant ships that could have compromised this whole base either? I feel like this is the writers telling us, yeah, just fill in the blanks for us. We couldn't be bothered to show you this happening ourselves. I guess they also couldn't be bothered to show any elites during this simulation. It's just explosions and shots being fired. It's not really interesting at all unless you enjoyed the constant close-ups of Perez's eyeballs. Also, Kai, who is the mentor for the Spartan 3s now, seems like she doesn't really like Perez, and who could blame her? Perez is insubordinate, literally telling her team to piss off in the middle of combat. Before we move on, I want to lay some groundwork because we all know Oni and Ackerson have been doing some questionable things, covering up a Covenant invasion, sending Cobalt team to die, lying to Jimmy, they didn't even do that part well, not wanting to use the Spartan 2s as assets except for Kai for whatever reason, abandoning Reach, the heart of the UNSC military, didn't even bother to warn anybody, not telling anyone about the plan, including Jacob Keyes, leaving Cortana behind, stealing Silver Team's armor. I may have missed some things, but this is the bulk of the storyline. That's a lot of things that need to be addressed. Why were any of these good ideas for Oni to do, as opposed to anything else like actually mounting a defense on Reach? Was all this just complexity and drama for the sake of baiting you to keep you watching? I'm sure we'll get a good answer for all of this. So, evil Oni person is talking to Ackerson about Reach. It's kind of funny that they're concerned about their narrative that Reach was not abandoned is intact, because Perez is right here. Did any other transport ships arrive from Reach? Oni was lucky Jacob Keyes wasn't on that transport ship with Perez, but don't worry everybody, Jimmy is here, ready to get his revenge. I'm so excited. I would like to give the show some credit. This scene with Ackerson and Kai, where she's simulating a fight on Reach, I like seeing these two characters connect, even if Ackerson is lying to her. It's the only plot line that has the least number of problems. Well, just give it 15 minutes. Oh, the show forgot Soren and his wife were here. We gotta give them something to do, so, yeah. Halsey apparently knows the UNSC took their son to Onyx. Conveniently the same place Jimmy needed to go to. It's a small world, okay? Don't question it. Let's just wrap up Soren and Kwan's part in this episode, because who cares about these people? Soren believes his son is being turned into a Spartan, so him and his wife go into this facility without being detected. That's literally it. We got Kwan on the drugs again, jumps into a well that Halsey also jumped into. They find Halsey's hidden research lab. Miranda Keyes is here. She's not shocked that Halsey is alive and just happened to show up randomly. This was a really weird scene, but this is it for Kwan and Halsey, so we'll find out more next episode. Jimmy fights some goons, and Jesus Christ.
Look how they masked with my boy.
Jimmy's plan was to get himself captured.
Not a great plan.
This is the heart of Oni. Jimmy is a Spartan. They will have his ass on lockdown, ensuring there is no room for escape. Unless Oni is cartoonishly incompetent, but that surely won't happen, right? Why don't they just put a bullet in his head right now, like they want him dead? He's supposed to be dead. We see Arbiter with no shirt. Best scene in the episode. It's funny how this show pisses on Halo lore, yet relies on you knowing the lore to understand scenes like this. They couldn't bother to show us what this guy did to become an Arbiter. They just said he did a shameful thing. That's it. This guy is a downgrade compared to the Arbiter we got in the games. The crew is getting fed up with this BS, wondering why they aren't going to High Charity and threatening to kill Maki, who somehow lost the ability to interact with Forerunner technology. Great. I hope they find out so they can end her life. Maki is the sole reason why Arbiter lacks any autonomy in this show. I don't care how she lost her power. I doubt it will make any sense anyway. Just kill her. I hope everybody loved the constant close-ups of Perez's forehead because we're back to her story. Thanks to Perez's leadership, they win the simulation, but it was too easy. Only Perez is confused. Obviously, you're being set up to go on a suicide mission because Oni bad. I have a question for everyone watching. Let's say you're a captain rank official for Oni. You captured Master Chief. How would you handle his imprisonment? If your ideas were better than just having 6 goons holding him down to where he could easily use his strength to toss them around, congratulations, you'd make a much better head of security than this fucking idiot. How did he even leave this room? Did they not lock the massive door when these clowns walked out? Ackerson and Kai are shocked Jimmy is alive and that this whole scene just happened, which is funny because I'm not.
You said that there was no reason to question Master Chief's loyalty. Seeing that John 117 maintained his connection to the Covenant agent known as McKee. And it appears now that they are working together.
No. Oh my god, this is headache-inducing listening to Ackerson paint Jimmy as a traitor. Let me explain why. I talked about this a bit in one of my videos about how lazy this story was handled. Jimmy fought elites on Sanctuary. The first 3 episodes were about him trying to prove that. It's one of the main reasons why he was pushing Silver Team to train harder, and he told them that.
We've been out here all night training. Why?
Because they're training. I told you what I saw on Sanctuary. Our enemy is out there.
He had the alien blood on his armor after his fight on Sanctuary to prove his claims, and he had Perez as a witness. But the blood gets ignored, and I guess Jimmy never bothered to use Perez to corroborate his story to his team when they left Sanctuary. Perez tells no one because the story is too wild to believe. Honestly, a lot of what's going on here is her fault. It kind of makes it hard to accept her that she's gonna be our up-and-coming Spartan hero. The point I'm trying to make is these are things Kai should know, which should make it difficult for her to just believe Jimmy is a traitor. And Ackerson does something wild. He destroys his own narrative. I'm not joking. Ackerson says that no one should have survived Reach. Jimmy surviving is sus.
John escaped from Reach. How did that happen?
What? Hello? You have a survivor of Reach on this base. I should remember Jimmy took his team to Visegrad, assuming there were Covenant forces there. In an attempt to spin the story further, Ackerson tells Kai the Covenant was at Visegrad, meaning Jimmy was correct.
We know the Covenant attacked the Visegrad relay to cover their assault on Sword Base where they captured one of the artifacts.
Holy shit. Why the hell would you tell her that? You know who stopped them during their sweep? This clown who is on Onyx with Kai. Right now, Kai should be hella suspicious, saying, so Jimmy was correct. You're lying. But all this just goes over her head, and she buys into the possibility that Jimmy is a traitor. Are you serious? Either Kai is an idiot, or the writers literally glossed over their own material. Probably both at this point. Look, if I was Ackerson and I really wanted to convince Kai Jimmy is a traitor, I would have showed her that porno Jimmy and Maki made. Honestly, if this happened, my score for the show would have skyrocketed, but it didn't happen. Unfortunate. We cut to McKee, who is so sad about not being able to use Forerunner technology. Apparently, we are now establishing McKee needs Jimmy to use these keystones, like touch them at the same time. I got nothing for you. Let's just make things more complicated, why not? But Cortana uses Maki's low point to encourage her to get access to the ship's transmission array. Jimmy and Kai face off, and it's an okay scene for a bit, but then Kai starts accusing Jimmy of being in league with the Covenant. I mean, I just explained a minute ago why this should not be happening, but you know what? They're trying to have an emotional scene with a dunce and an unlikable jackass who should have apologized for what he said to Kai in episode 3. That would help start off the conversation. They didn't bother to flesh out their relationship at all. They'd rather just tell you they were close. Just kick his ass already. Ooh, okay, look, this is funny and all, but you said you were supposed to bring him in. You're gonna kill him. Just put him in a sleeper hold. He's not even fighting back. What happens next is gonna blow your mind. For starters, no one goes in to check in on Jimmy to make sure he's dead or knocked out and start handcuffing him. Ackerson feels a bit conflicted having watched all of that, and I think evil Oni person tells us the reason why they chose to betray Jimmy was because he was becoming too hard to control. Whose fault is that? You didn't even try to manipulate him more convincingly. You just said he was crazy and openly made threats to him. A toddler could have figured out you were up to something bad. This is it. This is why Oni wanted him dead, as opposed to doing anything else with him. Oni are just a bunch of cartoon villains. One of them was making fun of Jimmy's dead comrades, by the way.
Last time we met, you had a weapon pointed in my face. 11 of my men are incapacitated. One of them may die.
Usually when people are hurt in combat, it's because they're poorly trained.
So which was it? With those Spartans, your Colboat friends. You know, when we found them, they still had full mags. Never even got a shot off. I'm beginning to think Spartans aren't so scary after all.
I want to see Parenkoski.
This dialogue sucks. Just evil for the sake of evil and drama. This level of nuance is childish. Unfortunately, it gets worse. Cortana sends a transmission to Onyx, and we learn all about Oni's plan to fight the Covenant. As some of us have guessed, Cortana was meant to be captured at the end of episode 4.
Say what?
Oh, I was so hoping, yet also not hoping this was your answer. Let me tell you why this is the worst idea you could have ever had, and just how lucky you were it worked out for you. First off, Halsey was in a position to find Cortana in episode 4. Had she been more expedient, instead of strolling around talking to Soren during a Covenant attack, she would have gotten to Cortana first. The plan would have failed. No way Halsey lets the Covenant just have Cortana. Lucky for Oni, that didn't happen. The Covenant is more advanced beyond the comprehension of humanity. Why would you just assume the Covenant wouldn't have compromised her? They could have very easily learned about Oni's scheme to ambush them, learned Halo's location, as well as information on Earth, and God knows what else, while Oni and pretty much humanity lose everything thanks to an idiotic gamble. Lucky for Oni, that didn't happen. Why are you even leading them to Halo for a surprise attack? Unless it's some other location, but it seems pretty clear they are headed to Halo.
The Covenant's going to find the Halo, Chief. They're going to use it. It is imperative that you get there first.
Why was this a better plan than just mounting a defense on Reach and keeping the Covenant ignorant about Halo's existence? I understand the idea of leading your enemy into a trap, but you gave them Cortana, who has a wealth of knowledge that could have just been very easily extracted from her. This should have blown up in your face a million times over. But lucky for Oni, none of these very likely outcomes happened. Oni is lucky as hell Cortana ended up with the one person who wouldn't start digging into her for information. The one person who was dead at the end of season 1 but is still alive for some reason. They're so lucky the Covenant did not trace the signal to Onyx base, which would have screwed them over, and that the Arbiter was so easygoing to listen to Maki and not take Cortana to High Charity and tell no one about this. So thanks to this insane level of luck, it's very likely this surprise attack can work because it's not the whole Covenant fleet.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
Anyway, Kai finds out Ackerson was lying, Yeah, a little late on that one. With the help of the all-powerful Cortana, who can do anything, Jimmy finds the keystone. There's also a mutiny going on with the Arbiter and his crew because one of the priests found out about the transmission signal, and just like that, amid all the chaos, Jimmy and Maki touch the keystones at the same time, and that's where we end the episode. Yeah, that was pretty bad. I don't know who out there believed this episode was good. I don't see it. Maybe somebody can tell me why. They made Cortana way too powerful. She can control the entire Oni base through a transmission signal. She's not even there. It's so bad to where she can get the plot to move in any direction the writers need to due to her insane power level. Like, this is just lazy. A video game made in 2001 had a much more mature way about handling Cortana.
I appreciate your concern, Cortana, but it's not up to me. The protocol is clear. Destruction or capture of a shipboard AI is absolutely unacceptable, and that means you're leaving ship. Which is where you come in, Chief. Get Cortana off this ship. Keep her safe from the enemy. If they capture her, they'll learn everything. Force deployment, weapons research. Earth.
I understand.
Are the Spartan 3s even Spartans? They're just people without augmentations. They're ODSTs basically. Oni is incompetent. We finally find out their plan, and as I suspected, it was stupid. A lot of plot contrivances. It was painful. I think the last video I said I was between a 2.5 and a 3 out of 10. Yeah, I'm dropping that to like a 2. This episode tells me whoever is making this show just didn't care to tell their own story well, or they're just incompetent. I can't wait for these next 2 episodes though. We've come this far. Might as well see it through.